was part of a big photography project that I was making about this site, and I was working with the material of photography, so all of the cameras I took were analogic cameras, 35mm or medium format. But I also wanted to work on the idea of anti-monument, something to open a place to speak about this site, as a monument would or should do, but since monuments fail us all the time and become this like fixed object, I wanted something that works with time. So since I work with film as well, the idea was to make a film that first was an installation on a 60mm loop, a projector, and then to make a film that can be watched also in a loop or in a cinema as a way of doing an anti-monument. So for me it's has this function as well as working with the actual material. Yeah, so all of the film is hand developed, and while I was processing, I did some experiments with the different chemicals and organic chemicals. So I took some dust and dirt and rocks from the site, also plants. There's some dry plants there, but they have this like sage, and they have a lot of essential oils in there. So I mixed it with this coffee solution and used it to impact the film like this. But you don't control what you will see in that way. So it's also speaking about in a way, the fragility, but also the possibilities of the film as a medium. And so this is why you get all these textures, because none of the effects, let's say, was done on the film after I developed. It was done during the development. And the music, I decided for the cinema version of the film to have music. The installation version was silent, so you had just the sound of the projector. But I invited a guitarist that I work with quite often, whose music I use often in my films, Andy Moore, who also has a history with Italy, just as an anecdote. And so I gave him the film and he improvised. So it's just his guitar, and he worked as an improviser, and he improvised with the film and then would send me the music, and I asked for just a little changes, but it went quite quickly. So in a way, it's his contribution to the film, as he imagined it as well. These are questions that we are confronted with all the time through the news, through films that work with nostalgia or that work with personal stories, but who are always, in a way, molded to the things that the European or the Western spectator wants. So for me it's important to do a rupture in this idea, because very, very little we see from the point of view of those who have lived the violence, let's say. And I think it's, of course, important that the people who are maybe in the film without being in the film, their story is in the film, if they can make the work, it's always better. But if I am trying to make something, I always want to take a few steps back. So the formal aspect, I decide in a way whether it be essay or whether it be, like in this case, more experimental approach, something that allows the spectator to know that they are watching a constructed piece. Because if not, we are working with our emotions in a very dangerous way.